obviously we're in different countries, and if we were together, obviously we could have a bit of a better setting. But we're working on that, and I think so far, I know we're only in season 2, but sorry, my bad. This is going to be season 3, isn't it? They're getting better every season.
We are. You made me check myself then. I was like, what episode are we on here? Do you know what I mean?
God, we're quite a few deep now, aren't we?
Yeah, we are deep. Are we on season? Right, sick, man.
This is
Let's go.
3, yeah. Episode 2 or 3, yeah, we're deep now. We're in the trenches. It's just no going back now.
Yeah, we are. And we're just going to keep doing it. It's great. And we've got a solid episode today. We're super excited to chat with Oriana Gaeta. I hope I'm not pronouncing her last name wrong, and I apologize if I am. But yeah, I reached out to Oriana because I seen that she was doing great stuff. I seen her actually judging with Christian. I can't remember what awards it was. But yeah, she's done. She's worked at agencies such as Made For and RGA. She's done some great work for like people like Nike, to Chanel. So yeah, I'm sorry, Michael. I'm gonna have to do this bit again. You're gonna have to chop it out. I fucked it up.
It's too late. Oriana's sat here. She was bringing her in and let her tell us.
You're killing me, man.
Because now the pressure's on.
Keep it in, man. Keep it in. Oriana's gonna tell her herself. You could have told me, bro.
I did.
What's going on?
What's good, Oriana?
Yeah, guys.
Sorry, Oriana. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you so much for joining on a Sunday. And I'm so sorry if I butchered your last name. Did I get it? What's the correct pronunciation of your last name?
Gaeta.
Gaeta.
Nice,
I mean, you're pretty close.
Not too bad.
What was the outcome?
I did it Mancunian me, so I was like Oriana Gaeta.
I like it. Could be an alternative version.
How are you? How's your Sunday?
Yeah, good. It's a sunny-ish Sunday here in London, so it's nice. But yeah, very chill. Had a really eventful Saturday, so I was just chilling today, which is great. And then,
nice.
Looking forward to
Love
chatting
it.
to you guys.
Yes, well, with that said, welcome to the What Does Your Mum Think podcast. Again, as you heard me, I'm sure in the background, then I was just introducing you, but we've been super excited to chat with you. I've just been telling Michael a little bit about you beforehand. But yeah, before we get started today, we're going to try something new. So it might go really well or really bad, but we're going to try it. A couple of quick fire questions, get the energy going. 1-word answers off the top of the dome. No overthinking, just boom. If it fails, it fails and we won't do it again. But let's go in it, Michael.
All right. Yeah. Okay, let's do this. All right, let's go 1 for 1, Christian. Okay,
right,
so
sick. Hit me.
Oriana, describe your design style in 1 word.
Minimal.
Your creative process.
Give me a second. What word is hard?
Yeah.
I usually need more words. Creative process. Erratic.
Erratic, nice. This one should be easier. Favorite city?
Tokyo.
Nice.
Yeah.
Most overused word in branding.
Oh, too many. Disruptive.
First job?
Babysitter.
Nice. Design pet peeve.
Oh, that's a hard one. Let's go to the next one. I need to think.
Yeah.
This one's so cliche, but
yeah.
Favorite typeface.
I love a classical Helvetica. I think it's a safe bet. Even if it's very well, sorry, it's one answer. One.
No, it's great. I can build off that as well because it's crazy. In New York, everything seems to be set in Helvetica condensed. Do you know what I mean? Or whatever, it looks like anyway. 1 word that scares you.
Oh God. Moody, I would say.
Nice.
And last question, what does your mum think?
1 word is too little. I I hope proud, but
Proud. Yeah.
probably,
Okay. That's a good one.
probably not.
We'll take it. Nice. Like I said, we just thought we'd chuck this in there. This is the first time we've done it. And I think it went all right. It was good. Energy's good now. We're in. We're warm. We're warm. We're good.
It's really fun.
Nice. So what we always tend to do is take it right back to the beginning, understanding, like basically, what did your mum think when you told her you wanted to be a designer?
Well, yeah. To be honest, like, I think she was relieved in the sense that, like, in my when I was growing up, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I wanted to do so many things, and I tried so many things. I started studying like architecture and like urban development and things like that for a year, and then like I dropped, and then I started studying Italian literature because I've always loved books. I'm a bit of a nerd. It's really who I am. But then I dropped that as well. I came here to London when I was 19 for a year. I was trying like to find my feet. I came back. I was just like a bit too young, I think. I did again like literature for another year. I was like, okay, all over the place. So I didn't know what to do. I was really quite desperate, to be honest, because you feel like you're getting a bit older, like you're trying to understand who you are and what you want to do, and I couldn't find it. So my mom was really like supportive of me trying to find my way, which I really appreciate. Like in hindsight, like that was probably the best thing that she could have done for me, because she never pushed, like we were never like a well-off family, so I didn't have money that like could allow me not to work or like to take ages to decide what I wanted to do in my life. But she never pushed me. Like she always like allowed me time to really understand. And then at some point, like some friends mentioned that like what I was doing for other friends, like I used to do like cover albums and like posters and photos and things like that could actually be a job. Yeah. So I didn't even know that design was a thing, to be completely honest. Like I'm from Naples, I'm from the south of Italy. Now it's definitely more mainstream, but when I started it wasn't that mainstream at all. So when I understood that I could do that as like for a job, that was amazing. So yeah, my mom was happy, I would say. Even though it was really hard to explain to her what I do. Like I was talking to my cousin maybe like a few weeks back, and she was like, like we still struggle to understand what you do. I'm like, cool.
And to go back a little bit on that, Oriana, what's life like growing up in Napoli?
Yeah.
It was really good, really fun. I would say like it's a bit like now it's definitely more like touristy, is a bit more global in terms of like how it appears and how like it's pictured as well in media and things like that. It was less touristy when I was growing up, but it was a good place to grow up in, like very sunny, very warm. So all the things that I don't necessarily have here in London, but also like a lot of like it's really hard to really establish yourself as a professional in any field, not necessarily just like design. So that was a bit of a challenge. That's also why like I moved to London at some point, because the job that I had when I started was just like not great. I still remember like when I had the interview for that job, like the business owner was like, oh, and tell me what do you think is like the objective of having a company or like an agency? And I was just out of like school, like I was kind of like, oh yes, I'm like, first of all, I felt like I was God, because I was like, oh yes, I'm the best, so I'm gonna like have the best time interviewing or whatever. But basically I was like, oh yes, it's like to create something great for the consumer as well as the clients, and like all of these like beautiful things. And he was like, no, that's incorrect. Having a company, having an agency is to make money. I'm like, okay. I guess that's not what I was looking for, what I was expecting, that's for sure. So yeah, I really wanted to move to London at some point. Well, I got offered the job, so that's why I'm here. In the end. But very different, I would say, from anything that I experienced and like when I moved.
Yeah, I'd love to visit. That's the birthplace of pizza as well, isn't it?
Yes.
That's like the best pizza in you know. Since coming to New York, right, I've got onto having these crunchy slices and that. Do you know what I'm saying? But there's definitely an in between. I went to a spot the other week called Snkrs, is a new spot that's just opened, and it's an in between of like I'd say it's kind of an in between. It's got like the sourdough kind of textures, so to say, with the bubbles and that, but it's also got the crunch of a crisp. But yeah, I'd love to. Do you go back much then? Do you go back and forth a little bit, or?
Yeah, I think definitely like yearly, probably like at least twice a year. I mean, it's so close
Nice.
to London as
Yeah,
well.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'd love to visit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
nice. So I know you mentioned a few bits there. So what's your earliest memory you have of like being creative, so to say? Like what's the did you draw as a kid? Did you like jigsaws? Did you like, sculpture? I always said obviously you ventured with like architecture and things like that. But what was your, as a kid, what did you like doing?
I really like. I always like to draw. I'm not really good at it, to be completely honest. I think it's a myth that every designer or creative is good at arts.
Yeah.
But I loved it. Like I used to paint as well, very abstract paintings, because I was just like, I had no training whatsoever to really create something that made sense. Or I didn't have also the patience to train myself like I did on other things. But yeah, I definitely I used to paint a lot. But I also kind of like craft. So I do a lot of like things with my hands. So like I used to learn, for example, to knit or to do other kind of like bits and bobs, but I never really go beyond like the beginning. Like I know how to do the basic things, but then like I get bored and I go to the next one, which is, I guess, something good and bad at the same time, because it means that I have a lot of basic knowledge but no in-depth knowledge of any of these things.
That's quite refreshing to hear, because I think I'm quite similar, Oriana, that I didn't draw a lot when I was young. I mean, I did draw, but I wasn't very good at it. It wasn't something that I was addicted to. And my paintings were abstract as well, not because that was the style I picked. I was just fucking rubbish at it. And it wasn't until sort of like later on in life when I started to understand what art or graphic design could be, was when I started to pursue it and get better. So yeah, it's nice to hear that, because obviously a lot of the conversations we have, it's like, yeah, I started drawing when I was a kid and I was drawing all these cartoons and these manga characters. But yeah, it's good to hear that.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
like the closest thing that I got to like something that really like made sense was when I was like, I don't know, I did put like a paint, like a printed image from the computer, like a character on the window, and then like another piece of paper on top, and then like just trace it, and that was like my masterpiece, because I managed to actually do something that made sense. But I think, yeah, talent is like, we always think that talent like is natural, like it comes from like this thing that like, yeah, you have it's in you, like it's always been there, which is not actually, I feel, and I found in like my career, is not really true. Well, there are some cases obviously where people are so talented from the start, from the get-go, like they have some capabilities of some sorts, but in reality it's a lot of work. What you were saying as well, like you started like understanding how to get there, like how to do certain things, etc., because you put the work in and you really committed to something. And I think that is the differentiator for me in anything. Like, yeah, like it's just like a bit of work. Really.
Yeah, I love that, Oriana. Yeah, definitely hard work beats talent every day. Do you know what I mean? A talent can be a waste if the hard work isn't matched with the talent, I guess, in it. Do you know what I mean? And you can definitely, I think, what comes through the hard work, and the talent or whatever, I think is obsession. I think there's some form of being obsessed with something that makes that become the, it's the I read something the other day about the paradox of success. And like when you get there, it's like what is it, the effort paradox? Like when you do something really well and you make it look really easy to do, but like it's been years and years and years to get there. I butchered that completely, but yeah, I love that take. So talk us to, so where have you, and obviously I know you've worked at RGA and Made For, but talk to us about this. Talk to us about you, like your journeys through agencies and them experiences.
Yeah, as I said, like, yeah, I worked in this very shitty. Can we say bad words? I feel like when I talk in English, I'm a bit freer with like the swear words. So please tell me if I cannot do that.
Do you find you have two different personalities with that? do you like, so when you're speaking like in Italian, and like, does it come across certain ways, and then when you're speaking in English, you know what I mean?
I think for me, it's easier sometimes to speak in English just because I used it for majority of my adult life. I've been in London for like 11 years. And like all my work life has always been here, which means that like all my adult conversations have always been here. So in Italian, I feel like I don't know how to speak Italian anymore very well, which is also very very frustrating. But I think I have the tendency actually to use swear words in both languages. So
Yeah.
I need to retract what I said, like regardless.
But you do your thing.
I'll limit myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was like in a not so great place in Italy. So I got offered the job from a small studio that had one base in Italy. So like the original kind of like studio was in Italy, and then they opened like a London studio where like all the design was centered basically. And yeah, they basically like, it's really funny because how they decided to go for me was not for the work that I was doing, but it was more for like the little side projects that I had going on, like, or like little, like drawings or things that I was doing that were not necessarily related to any job. And also like when you're a junior, I feel, at least at the time, it was easier to get hired on that basis, on kind of like potential more than projects, whereas like I think now is a bit more difficult. But anyways, so yeah, I moved to London, like started working in this agency. It was called Roll Studio. It's digital agency. Well, it closed actually, like I think last year. So I was in very close contact with like a lot of really amazing developers. So my background is very much rooted into digital design. But because I also like going back to like that thing of like, yeah, I like to do more, like many different things. I got quite bored of like just doing one thing. So I would do brand design when I was doing too much digital design, and I would do, for example, like poster when I was doing too many like like brand identities, or I would do something else when I was doing. So I started like building my kind of like design knowledge in that way, almost like as like autonomous person, even if like the projects weren't coming in. I had to say, like, I was quite like, I was really hungry. Like I really wanted to do things at the time. Like I really wanted to do a lot of different things. I wanted to challenge myself, etc. And I stayed there for like maybe a little bit less than 3 years. But then I kind of got to the point where I wasn't really learning anymore. And that has always been like my kind of like tiebreaker. I was like, okay, I need to move on. So I had like the shortest freelance career in history, probably, because I freelanced for like maybe a month or even less. And I went to RJ for 5 years, and that's where the bulk of my kind of like knowledge and like the experience and everything really like built up. So
Yeah, nice.
Digital.
Yeah, so when you so how did you find that transition? What was it like when you got there? Was it like, oh, like in a good way? Like I think pressure's a privilege, so when you got there it's like, oh shit, like I'm in it now. Was it that kind of energy, or were you just like rolling?
It's a very good question, actually.
Off roll.
I don't think I was rolling, but I was definitely like I was amazed by the fact that there was like a place as big as that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys experienced that as well, but like in smaller environments, like you end up doing so many things, and like you like put a lot of hats on, and like, which is good on one side, also quite like stressful on the other side. So when I got to a place that is very much more like structured and like but bigger projects and bigger clients, it was definitely like different. It took me some time to really like adjust. I don't think I performed very well at the beginning, but I was lucky enough that they didn't give up on me from the start.
I love that. Yeah, that's sick. Do you know what I mean? When you're giving them opportunities to kind of eat off and grow with, you know what I mean, and grow into. So you was there for quite a while, right? Like 3 years, 4 years?
Yeah, I was there for 5 years. It was
5 years, sorry.
A long
Yeah,
time.
my bad.
Yeah.
Then you worked your way up through the ranks there to from senior to design director, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think I started like as midway, and then but I was
Oh, sorry.
like I had an amazing manager, Christine,
Nice.
that she really like got me, like we got on the same page right away. Like she
Yeah,
really like
nice.
understood my potential, which
Yeah.
means that like she saw that like yes, I got in as a midway, but in reality I was already like acting as a senior. So like I got to senior quite quickly, and then I managed to like work on different projects, like kind of like fight for the types of clients that I wanted to work for, or even just like just trying to understand really like what I wanted to do. And as I said, like I kind of like did the same things that I was doing before. So if I didn't work on like a brand project for too long, I would create the opportunity for myself, to show off what I was able to do, and that kind of paid off.
Yeah.
And the previous background that you had of working more in digital, do you think that's what helped you get into RGA? Do you think that was something that helped you with your portfolio?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I would say like RJ is still very much like, at least London, still very much based on systems, what they call systems,
Mm-hmm.
which is more like the digital tools and platforms that they build. But that said, they have a super strong branding side, like brand identity side, and like the head of design at the time, well, is not head of design, is ECD of the world right now. But yeah, is really really good at brand design. So it was a good teacher in that sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing. And so then after RGA, where did you end up then?
After RJ, basically, I think it needs a bit of context, but towards the obviously, like I've been at RJ for 5 years, which means that I was there in during COVID, and as we all know, it was like a challenging time. But my last 2 years there, I was heading the Nike account at RGA, so it was everything but what I was used to do. So yes, I had experience in brand. Yes, I had experience in digital, but at that point, I was doing campaign and activations and physical events and like things that like really I didn't do before. Like I didn't do much of before. So that was great. But I also felt at some point, like I think some of the best projects that I had were from that period. But at the same time, I think I lost a little bit of connection with design craft, which is really what I wanted to kind of pursue as well at that point. That's why I moved, and I got hired from Maythought here in London still. So it was more like they needed a person that was, again, going back to that digital design background, like that was very versed into the digital world, because they needed to establish their kind of like offering in terms of digital. So it was the perfect combination because I really wanted to get into a place that was like craft led, and they definitely are. And they needed
Yeah.
my expertise.
Yeah, I've always loved that about Made For. I'm just looking at the work now, their attention to detail, the way they visualize the work. It's always like that craft has always been 100 there, isn't it?
Yeah, and it always will be.
Yeah,
I think that's basically like their their differentiator. To be honest.
So what's the process? Sorry, Michael. So what's the processes like there at Made For? So like going from RGA to Made For, like from start to finish on a project. Did you find that there was anything that stood out to you? Do you know what I mean? That you took from Made For and you still use now in your career? Like how was the kind of how did it kind of go?
Yeah, very different, I would say. I think like the fact that craft and design are at the heart of everything. It also means that, of course, there are timelines, of course, there are budgets, as we all know. But if something is not perfect or is not like good, like really good, will not see the light of day.
Yeah.
Which is something really like is scary, but is also very refreshing. because we are used, especially in bigger corporations, I think we are used to see how sometimes like design and creativity needs to be compromised because budgets are, honestly, guys, I'm sure you've seen it as well, especially lately. Like budgets are tiny and time frames are ridiculously like little, like small, which means that like something needs to something needs to give, and usually it's quality. But I would say like May Thought's process has always been like quality and craft at the heart, which means that usually what comes out of there is top quality.
And yeah, on that, so you said that nothing leaves the studio unless it's good, and something that me and Christian keep going back to recently is like, what is good design? So what is good design to you, and what is it at Made Thought as well?
So for me, good design is something that has been thought about. Is not just something that is pretty, because everyone can do like pretty things. I've seen so much, and like I think we are actually bombarded by like pretty things and beautiful things as well. But for like to have good design, we need to have a concept that is solid and a purpose that is even more solid. And I think that is a combination of good clients, or like good, like what the clients want and like what they want to achieve, and the kind of like the principle, what are the foundations for the design choices that we make. Because yeah, again, like we've seen a lot of like, especially like lately, like a lot of redesigns for the sake of, they are not looking bad, they're just like probably not looking deep enough, like they are not going to stand the test of time because they have not been thought through. And that's fine, like if it's a startup that is going to change in 2 years time, that's totally fine. But if it's like a heritage brand, or if it's like something that you want that lasts at least like 10 years, then like you need to put some thought into it. Like, I mean, again, May thought comes into the name, but I think that's fundamental. That's definitely one of the things that I learned and I will take with me like forever, is how much thought goes into things, and why even like a small detail, like it could be just like a material that you pick, or like a grain or a gradient that you select, like why it's been done that way, and there is a reason. Like there is always a reason, and it's also easier to sell to clients, to be fair. Like if you have a reason, like clients will, like it's hard unless they hate it, which is still fair. but they will not say no. Like it's really hard to say no to something that makes sense.
It's in it. If it's fully rationalized and it's, you know, like you said, it's got the why behind it, then I believe it just, like you said, then it comes down to subjection. You know, you like red over blue, you like that typeface over that typeface. You know, I mean, realistically, what we've done still has that solid kind of like meaning. I've got some builds on Michael. I'm going to go to judging first before we go to the work questions, if that's all right, because I think it's a nice build from that. So you've obviously done a lot of judging. And it's, you know, you're up there being an industry influence, Oriana. I love it. You know what I'm saying? You are. You're doing the thing. I seen actually. I can't remember what awards you was judging, but you was with Christian Eager not so long ago. Do you know Christian from Red Dot Studio? He runs Red Dot Studio. Yeah. I seen the pictures on LinkedIn when you was all doing your thing, and I messaged him because we've just had Red Dot on. Previous episode. Yeah. So I messaged him. Oh no way, you know Ariana, we've got her on. So as an awards judge, kind of what you just said then with the Made Thought, but to build on that, like what makes a project stand out to you instantly then? You know, I mean, I can imagine it's building off what you just spoke about then, but you know, I'm guessing you're looking through the similar lenses.
Yeah, of course. I think it also depends on what you're judging in terms, because, and that is definitely something that the Christian might have also highlighted in his talk. But we were really like chatting about that during like the judging session that we did together. But
yeah,
I think it depends on what you're judging. If you're judging craft,
interesting, yeah,
probably is not that important if the idea is not there. Or of course, like idea is still so like fundamental, but if you're looking at like how something is being crafted, then is the care for the details, it's the way it's been built, is the choices, is the taste, that's the most important. But if you're looking at a project as a whole, then is another story, and it's really hard because of course there is a layer of craft and like beautiful design that needs to be respected and like needs to be found, but there is also like, why are you doing it? Is it for a good cause? If it's not, and it's for commercial purposes, which is totally fine, are you trying to inject a little bit of like good in your work? Are you choosing either for example, like sustainable materials? Are you keeping in mind like certain other things that will make you stand the test of time? Is the idea good? Like there are, is really hard, I feel right now, like to win an award. And I've been like, probably the hardest one to win is a D&AD pencil. I never thought that would have been like, because you always think, oh, you got a wooden pencil is the basic one, or like you've been shortlisted is not enough unless you get a yellow pencil. Guys, it's so hard. Like, it's really hard to be shortlisted even. So like, this is for everyone that is gonna ever like try to submit like a project to D&AD. If you get shortlisted, it means that like you really passed a lot of like really kind of like demanding people. So I think the standards are like, have never been higher. But it's really hard to find a project that will cover all the bases, I would say. And this comes from clients. Like, this doesn't come from the industry. I don't think it's like a quality problem. I think is a brief problem.
So when you're on a judging panel and you're all looking at the work together, is it often that everybody in the room agrees, are like, yes, that's the answer? How does that look? And do you ever get a lot of disagreeable people?
Like in your head stood there, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I'm going no. I can tell you, it's really hard to find a moment where like you are all collectively judging something. You're like, yes, this deserves an award. There have been a couple of times for standout projects, and you're
of course,
like, how can you say no? But a lot of times you find that you need to actually go back and forth to really evaluate if something is deserving. And obviously what you need to keep in mind is also that like a lot of people have invested time and money and like energy and probably like late nights into what you're judging. So you can also like, it's not fair for anyone to dismiss or like to just like, go through very quickly, or like just, no, this is not deserving. Like, really interrogate something. Really, like, I feel like all the panels that I've been on, everyone has been so thorough and like so respectful to the companies or designers or freelancers that have sent like their work for awards for judging. But it's definitely like, no. I never had anyone like get physical in terms of like
flipping tables and that.
But it's quite intense sometimes.
That's really good to hear, I think, for not just like us, but for lots of people, whoever's listening to this episode as well when it comes out, Oriana, because it's so subjective. I know everybody says that, like, oh, it's subjective. It really is. Like, what I might like can be different to what Christian might like, even though we're so aligned in our thinking and so on. As with you, that you can't let other people's opinions drive the work as well sometimes. I mean, obviously, if it's a client, it's their baby. Like, you're serving a purpose, you're doing a job. It's objective, but a lot of the time, when you're just creating things which are beautiful, that's completely subjective to some people. Or whether you're creating something which has got a strong idea behind it.
Yeah, exactly. I think there are some codes that are universal. Like, we all would agree if something is beautiful, or like we all would agree if a color was like there was the right usage of color. But I think there are a lot of other things that are so subjective, but also I don't know. I think you need to pick your battles as well. There are some times where I really like, I feel I feel like I'm very opinionated in those situations, just because I know what I like and I know what I don't like. Usually, not all the time, but majority of times. So if there is something that I really believe in and is not passing, I try to to argue for it as much as I can. But the beauty of discussion and discussing is also that you actually change your mind. Sometimes I've started with like hating a project, or like, not being passionate about it, and then by the end of the discussion, I'm like, you know what, you're actually right. Like, you saw this thing that I didn't see, and there is purpose, and this is like why I'm gonna change my vote, which is beautiful. And a lot of times it's happened the same. So maybe you argue for something, you're like, yeah, no, I really want to have like, I really want to discuss this because I really believe that this is worthy, and then people change their mind. So is I think is there is a good community out there that
Yeah.
is, at the moment at least, that it is curating like the awards shows, etc. I think everyone is willing to, like, it really wants to celebrate the industry.
Yeah. What so which awards do you actually judge in total? So you do a few, right? You've done a few.
Yeah, I've done a few. This year I've done the creative circle.
Yeah, nice. That was the one.
Which
That was the one you
just,
were a Christian. Yeah, nice.
yes, correct. And yeah, shortlists are out. So a lot of, yeah, I've seen a lot of good projects. D&AD, and also the a couple of times D&AD.
Nice.
I've done the ADC in New York, which was really fun. Actually, they reached
Nice.
out in 2019 and they were like, "Oh yes, come for the 2020 edition." I was like, "Yes, amazing! I've never been to New York. I'm gonna come." And then obviously we all know what happened. So we were like judging online, but then they invited us, like the same judges again, 2 years after, because they were like, "You'd never experienced the physical kind of like venue and like the judging, etc." And that was fantastic. It was such a good experience.
Yeah,
And you meet a
nice.
lot of like amazing people, like really senior people that you wouldn't like necessarily like, you look at them and you're like, oh my god, like you've got like 20 years of career and like you've done so many things, and now I'm talking about, like, I'm really arguing with you.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, they are. Oh, yeah, that's an interesting take, actually, because they're great rooms to be in, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? There's, like, yeah, Jesus Christ, like, I've been networking the hell out of that room. Do you know what I mean? Walking around with my pink hat on, being as loud as I can. So with that said, whether it's D&AD, Creative Circle, whatnot, what's an, I mean, you must see the trends, right? What would you say is like let's speak this year, do you know what I'm saying, from the ones you've seen? Is there any kind of trends and overrated trends that you've seen, do you think?
I mean, I'm sure like this comes out a lot. AI is a trend, guys.
Yeah.
It's a trend. Is the curse, is the pain, is the like gift whatever of this time. So you see it a lot in either like project that talk about it, either projects that use it, either project that bash it. You see it a lot.
Interesting. So what usages do you see of it incorporated into projects when you're judging?
There was a project that we judged, I think, for like quite recently, that was using AI to create images, basically, of like an imaginary city. So it was not something that existed. Obviously, they had to create them from scratch. And the results were really pretty. Like, they were really, really beautiful. And I think it's really hard to just like praise or condemn like anything based on the fact that like it's been created by AI. I think the whole, like, it's been used a lot in image creation. In projects that I've seen, but I know for sure that is really getting used quite a lot for copywriting, which is very scary. In my opinion.
When it's the dashes in it. When people copy and paste straight away, then dashes give it away.
Love that you get identified away of like.
It's really, it is. I was sat with a friend not so long ago, and he's just a one-man band. He does everything. He does a lot of content stuff, and he uses it for that. He's not necessarily, not that he's not good with copy. He's just, his expertise is in other places. Do you know what I'm saying? Single entities. So he does use it for captions and things like that. And it's crazy what it spits out. It is crazy. Do you know what I mean? It's. And what's mad about it as well, like I do use it I use it a lot as a search engine now. I don't really use Google anymore. I find myself using ChatGPT. I've just bought a new phone. I've just got an iPhone 16, and has it incorporated into it. So you press the button on the side, and then it's crazy. You can, you take a picture of somewhere, where can I get these trainers from, and it fucking brings it straight up, and like it's mad. The usages of it, I think it's a tool in it, and let's not and I think it's great for concept. So like I've just been doing a presentation this week at work, and we want to get the client to do a photo shoot. Working with AI to kind of put some prompts in there. This is what we can do. These are the capabilities. Let's do a shoot, and then they visually understand it instead of verbally understand it. So I think it's great in them capacities. It's the next level of it when you start seeing, like, I don't know, logos generated by it, packaging generated by it. I watched this. I think I sent it to you, Michael. I watched this geezer. It was on he did like a bit of content stuff on YouTube. He was like a creator on YouTube, and he created like a coffee pack from like beginning to end. From logo, from colors to illustration to the actual pack itself. And obviously it's driven by his brain. Do you know what I'm saying? But what came out, like, if you seen that, honestly, Oriana, you wouldn't question it. You wouldn't. There's going to be some things, obviously, when you look closely, but on first glance, like, you're like, yeah, I mean, and I think that's the scary thing. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, but it'll never beat me at coming up with conceptual thinking and conceptual kind of like ideas. But I think,
I think it's taking a bit the fun out of it, though. Because I agree with using it to explain an idea or like to really use it to support. I also understand like people that are like they don't have enough money or like they don't have the infrastructure. Like if you're a solo trade, like if you're just like working on your own and you need to provide something and you don't have the client doesn't give you the budget to hire another person. I understand. Like I can give some excuses, but I think the main thing for me is like if you're just doing something using AI and like you're just assigning the merit to yourself, that feels wrong and very like a little bit sad. Like you're literally like skipping the fun bit. But also, I don't know. I have the feeling that I have the feeling a lot of people have been like kind of like talking about it. And I really believe in it. Is a little bit like when the H&Ms and Zara's and like the big the big kind of like corporations that create a lot of clothes for cheap. They're all the same. Quality is not that great. Obviously, let's not go into like how they use like their human help for producing those things. But and people are now valuing much more like the little local maker. They might spend a bit more money for one piece of clothing instead of 10 in a year, but then like they will go to the local creator like that has handcrafted that piece of garment. It's going to basically be probably the same for us. Like probably there is going to be, because we are not able to regulate ourselves. Like we are not going to be as human beings, we are not going to be able to say this goes against my principles, so I'm not going to use AI to create my photo shoots. I'm going to use a real person. Very like not many people are going to do that. So it means that we're going to have more and more AI generated things, but it means that like the true luxury will be hiring you guys to create something from scratch. And it's going to be the next big thing because it's whole like human made, human thought, really, really kind of like crafted, and that's luxury.
I love that.
You
you become even more of a specialist, which I think is cool. I think something like I love using AI. I think it's amazing, but there's this other side of it where people are building websites in a day, presentations in a day. Cool, it works, it's functional, but there's no big idea to it. There's no real human touch to it or creative thinking behind it. And there's even designers now who can have the thing in front of them. They can go on Pinterest, they can find a perfectly designed thing, and they go, cool, I'm going to steal that and copy it. And they still can't even copy it as good as the original thing, you know? So I don't think that we're going to have a problem with people churning out presentation things fast. Like, cool, go to them, get your quick and dirty fast work. But like, come to us if you want the real good stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. I think it's like, you don't want a client that wants a presentation in a day. I don't want it. Like, it's just like, it's too much. It just means that like they don't actually like give enough value to the work that you're putting. And if they want, something done in a day, they can go to the guy that like uses AI, or like they can do it themselves. Like, it's, for good or bad, like AI is still an open platform. Not completely. Like, you should pay if you're using it very like often. You should pay for it, because I think it's like so much better if you pay a subscription. But anyways, like, it's open, so they can use it. Like, I can live without that client, and if I lose every single client, or if I don't have a gig anymore, I'll do something else.
Yeah.
So I think that is kind of like the thing. Like, it feels like people will die if you don't have any more jobs. Like, there's always gonna be a solution, and I'm sure like creativity will still survive.
That's the only thing that'll survive.
And I think that's the solution. That's the solution of beating AI, staying creative. I think that is the thing. That is the only way. It's a tool, remembering it's a tool, and staying, pure to your craft on your side. And there's satisfaction that comes from labor. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong, right? Don't get me wrong, right? I do like using the content aware tool on Photoshop every now and then to get something done quick. But, you know what I mean? Or like, the subject area where I can click something and I don't need to draw around it anymore and stuff. That saved me a hell of time. Do you know what I'm saying? But the craft of a logo, and when you're in that stage and the idea has been sold into the client, the big idea has been sold, and it's just now, let's make this great thing even greater. Let's fucking nerd out on the bits, and I love being there. Do you know what I'm saying? It's inspiring. It's interesting. It's like, you inspired me a bit there when you're talking about it. I was wondering if, like, this whole AI, is there a thing that signed off when humans have made the work, like made by humans, human made? Do you know what I mean? Or something that is like a brand or something that starts, I don't know what it, I think you've got some really interesting takes on that, Ariana.
I think we're very close to a dystopian future, so I think that might be the case.
Blade Runner shit's happening, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Amazing. Right. So with that said, let's get into some work. So you've worked, giants, Nike, Google. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. I'm right saying that, Anna. Do you ever find that when you're working on these big brands, you have a little bit of an imposter syndrome coming from a small town in Naples, working on these mammoths?
I think maybe when I started working on bigger brands, yes. Mm-hmm. I feel like now, how a big company is structured. Obviously, that your impact, bigger is the brand, more is your impact, in terms of like, especially if you're doing something for a massive brand that has like global reach, that like what you do will have a lot of impact, but you feel less, I don't know, I don't think I feel like, I don't know, put in a position of trouble, of like, I don't feel in pain, really, like if I need to work on a bigger project or a bigger client, just because I know that there is going to be people like me there, or like there is a structure there. There is people that are just trying to do their best. Sometimes you find the people that are not so nice, but you learn how to deal with them as well. But anyways, I think it's actually fine. I find it more nerve-wracking to work on smaller projects. Founder-led projects are really hard. So like, they give you such a good they're so satisfying, because if you nail it, they will be so grateful. But at the same time, you're basically helping them bring to life their baby, which means that there is a lot at stake, and you really need to interpret what they want. I think bigger brands, they're just trying to translate what the bigger brand setup is, and they're just like trying to obviously evolve it. Sometimes it's a bigger brief, like we And Maythought had one of my favorite projects that I cannot talk about is for, unfortunately, at some point probably we will be able, but I cannot. But it was for a like one of the biggest sports brands, which is not Nike, and we really
Can we guess? Just
specifically.
give us a wink if I get it right.
I think
It's all right.
if I said that it's not Nike, I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah, probably.
All right, well, now you've done it. Yeah. Say no more.
I haven't said what it is. It could be anything. But yeah, we worked on a massive project for them, and my team works on it. And that was scary in the sense that like that really had an impact. That this was something that we worked on probably like maybe 4 months in I had joined, like, so it's pretty fresh. And now we're seeing it out there in terms of like being rolled out and like campaigns and like look and feel and things like that. And that was massive. And you start being quite intimidated because you know the impact that your work is going to have. But towards the end, and this was like a long process, like it was more than 6 or 8 months or something. We were working with the like CCO and the head of brand and the head of product, and they were like, we were staying in the office until like 11, and we were mates, we were joking, and it was like, it gets very natural and it gets very normal, because at the end, if you're trying to achieve something great and something beautiful together, then it's fine. Like it's easy. Like as long as like you trust each other, like you have respect for each other, job and work and like type of thinking, I think that's fine. And it's still one of my favorite projects, and it was a massive brand. But then like, smaller ones are way scarier for me now. There's more at stake.
Two very different ways of working in it. It's like you're creating the unmistakable to be with a founder brand, so to say, founder-led brand, and with the bigger brands, you're trying to almost like wipe the dust off and establish the unmistakable that already is, and celebrate that even more so, and not lose that unmistakable thing. Do you know what I mean? Get to the crux of that. I've had a lot of experience like that myself, like going from Turner Duckworth to B&B. It was Turner Duckworth was your big unmistakable brands, your B&B was your more founder-led brands. You find that budgets are different, that gives you different opportunities, tighter deadlines, tighter briefs. Like I love a brand world, do you know what I mean? I love spreading it into a brand world and showing like, stuff that might not, stuff like are nice to have in the future, so to say, what I mean? Like pushing things and whatnot, where like the capabilities sometimes aren't there, but the love for it's different, innit? You're speaking to the person who's, like you said, it's the baby, where sometimes you're just speaking to a room filled with like people in the marketing side, say, the brand, so it's very different. Not to say the love's any different for that brand, but it's a very different thing if it's, someone's poured their heart and soul into something and they're trying to make it come to life.
Yeah, let's not talk about marketing people.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You often, I guess, with those bigger companies, you can often be dealing directly with like a marketing person rather than, like you said, founder.
Different energies, very different. Just passion, like I said, the passion can definitely still be there. It's just different sometimes.
I think it's different objectives.
Yeah, exactly.
Like more, like very often you're not on the same page just because you see things differently. But not like different opinions, like different goals, which is a bit complicated. But as I said, like little like brands or like founder-led brands, like I've had people cry of joy, like for things that you've done like so quickly, and like you're not really like even proud of it because you're like, oh yeah, I've had to just like do it in this time frame, not enough money or whatever. And they would like be so grateful. So I think I'm more, I'd love to do more of that now, which is potentially more challenging, but it's also rewarding.
Yeah, it hits different, doesn't it? I was working with a freelance client who I met through a friend, just helping her out, stuff like she was an ex-doctor and she wanted to set up like this kind of like holistic healing platform. I created her a logo and she got it tattooed on the back of her neck. Like, Jesus Christ. Do you know what I mean? That hits different. Do you know what I mean? You're like, bloody hell, do you know what I'm saying? It's like, you really going to do it? Yeah. She sends me a picture. I'm like, oh, God.
Was it
Right,
the
so
final version? Because if it wasn't, that
the first thing I checked was the artwork. Like, Jesus. That's amazing. Right. So, without further ado, let's get into some work. Do you want to lead with a certain project, or do you want Michael just hit us off and like surprise you, and we'll just get going from where he shows? Is there a formulated order? Are we good?
There is really not order. I think no. Like you guys go. I'll definitely
nice.
Things.
Okay, cool. Maybe we'll start with the RGA stuff. So we're just going in some some chronological order going. Yeah, you like that? I've done this before, you know, Oriana. Yeah. Trying. Okay, cool. So Nike Sync. What am I best off pulling up here first, Oriana? The case study.
Sure. Yes.
Well,
yeah. Let's go with that.
Let's go.
Yeah. Oh my God, guys! I sent you so many things.
That's not good.
I don't know if there's time to go through everything. Yeah, there is a voiceover. This is just like a little overview of a project that has been led by so many people. So this is definitely like not just.
Sorry, Oriana, I can't hear you because the music's like blasting in my ears. Have you got that at all, Kristen?
No, we can't hear it.
Oh God, okay, my bad. Keep talking. I'm gonna play it on mute.
Yeah, play it on mute because I don't think we can hear it anyways. It's just like as I was saying, like it's just the result of the work of so many people, and I think this is fundamental for me in general that comes through that. Also, smaller or bigger projects, like they are never like the work of art of just one person. So this was for when I was like heading the Nike account at RJ, obviously. And this was a project that Nike has been like a long client for Method, not really, for RGA. Oh my God, there is going to be a lot of this.
It's all good. Don't be worried, it's all good.
But yeah, basically like we helped them create a new exercise platform as well as like communication platform for people with periods. So big taboo, obviously, like sports wise, like it wasn't really like a mainstream thing. We got tasked to create like an identity as well as like an array of like activations and things on all the like very connected ecosystem that Nike has. So it was really, really fun, very, very intense in the sense that like you really need to consider all the different platforms that the brand has, as well as like creating something that might stick with the next person. And we really wanted to champion something that was a bit different. And I guess like, I mean, the usual visual language or anything that has to do with people with like, you know, their cycle is very pinky and very kind of like feminine and all soft colors. Is almost like this beautiful time of the month. It's not. So obviously there was a lot of talk on how can we make a visual language that reflects a little bit of that. So bold choice of red, the word period being used as kind of like a way of talking about things, creating a visual language that would leverage both like the things that the codes, the brand codes that Nike had already. So like the typeface and like the type of pairings, but also pair it with some elements that we introduced. So the point, so like the full stop being the period, being a visual device that we used everywhere, creating kind of like this moments of recognition with the strong red in the visual language. And I think like the the most interesting thing was that we started talking internally, and like because we had to create a lot of like actual content, so like really interrogate like those experts that Nike had on the matter, or like having conversation with people that were well versed into like sports and cycle for women, and we found out a lot of things that we didn't know. So that is also the beauty of design, I would say. You discover a lot of things that you don't really know every time. But yeah, we had to like talk to illustrators, so that is also like a massive part of the job. Like we had to create a lot of illustrations done by amazing artists that would just like picture basically the talks around periods, and like we really wanted to champion obviously like artists that were either women or like people with periods. So really a lot of thought thinking went into this kind of like research as well. But as I said, there is a lot obviously, but this was like the work of like so many people. Yes, me from like the kind of like design side, like leading the charge, but we had so many designers working on it, so talented. There was another, like the other head of like Nike before me that started this project, so I just like inherited it and like brought it to life in the end. But he was the one that like started it, and then like copywriters and strategists and creatives, and like I think this is kind of like the beauty for me of this. And also kind of like fun fact, but when you talk about like Nike women, it doesn't have as much traction as like anything that has to do with sport, or like Nike Sport, the more like mainstream part of Nike, etc. So no one really like put a lot of thought into this from different sides. Like sometimes the business wouldn't really care what we were doing in terms of Nike women, or even like Nike in itself. Sometimes like it was a bit disregarded, but this was actually something that had a lot of impact in the end for people as well.
Yeah, nice. It's great. I love it. Come together really well. Everything's so consistent with it too. Do you know what I mean? Solid. What can I say?
I mean, this is again, as I said, like this is kind of like this is a project that was not regarded as like super important by the business, but in the end, it won on like a Grand Prix and like a Lion and like Cannes.
Nice. Yeah.
Like no one really thought that this project could actually win such a big award. And even though like you don't do things for awards, definitely not this one, but it was a testament to the fact that like we did something at the right time in the right way.
Yeah, and the power of design too in it. Do you know what I mean? Using it in the right way. It's all good doing like, bits of packaging for this, and but this is actually stuff that matters. There's power in our hands to do good with it.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah, and what I love about this is that it speaks to real people, to real issues, real problems, and I think that's where a lot of these big brands miss out on. And I think there's been a big trend in the past few years where maybe some of the bigger brands are losing out to these like smaller cult brands, these smaller cult running clubs and like High Rocks, these little fitness clubs, because it's so like community based and community driven, and it really connects with the people of the city where they're from, or from the activity that they're doing. So I think stuff like this is actually like unbelievably valuable for Nike.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think it's super important for them. Obviously, like we really wanted to push them way beyond. Like we wanted to start creating like products and really like have more tailored workouts and like things that could be something more that could have been done. Definitely there was, but I think obviously you also hit the limitations of a big corporation. So there is as much as like as you guys were saying, like you have a future piece, like an ideal scenario type of like this is what we would love to do, but then not all the time you manage to do it, which is a shame because it's something really cool.
So this one is probably, I mean, this has got to be up there as like a dream project, especially for like me and Christian. Bloody Air Max Day for Nike, like that's insane.
Yeah, it was insane as well.
Where do you want me to start here, Oriana? Because I know you've got initial concept you want me to go through here
Yeah,
first?
let's go through that. I can give you basically a little bit
Oh,
of
sick. Yeah, nice. This is great to see.
kind of like understanding of what it is. Yeah, it was a mess, guys. Like this was in the end, it was so much fun, but it was so messy because it was us plus the production company plus other people, Nike, everyone. So basically we were
Sick.
tasked to create an idea. So this was like just starting from the idea for Air Max Day a
I
couple
love
years
the
ago.
thing. The blue. Sorry, but the fucking blew up chair, the blow up chairs there with the bubbles, and that's sick.
Yes, guys, like, but that's the thing. Like, I get bored. Like, I get bored very easily. So, like, yeah, digital design. Then I get bored. Then brand design. Then I get bored. Then art direction. Then I get bored. This like type of stuff that bring to life something so as a
Yeah.
tangible event or like experience. That's what gets me excited because you have all the elements. You have like the digital factor. You have the brand identity. You
Yeah.
have the
Yeah.
experience. You actually guide people through something. But yeah, we basically like got tasked to create this idea. So like this like kind of like the creative team created this
Sick.
brilliant idea to have like a live event, like a live game show for Air Max Day. And client loved it, but then like we had to actually like plan a space. So we started concepting, and this is kind of the stuff that you started to see. So one side was like, okay, an identity for it, and then on the other side was, okay, how do we create this space? Because at the same time we also started to think about like the games themselves. So those initial sketches we really loved, but the client thought there was a bit too far in. So this is kind of like the feel of how it looked towards like at the end, which is still quite cool. It's a bit more modular. It's a bit more like simple, like controlled, which in hindsight probably was a better thing because towards the end it was utter chaos. Like we had to create, I think, I don't know, if I kid you not, like 200 assets for every single like speck of the world that you can think of. So this was actually created. So this is a mock-up of something that really like saw the light of day. This was the invite. Obviously there was a lot of like motion, and as you probably know, like motion is very finicky. So like everyone's got opinions. We had to change things 300 times. And if it was just like sometimes it was like such a small thing that then you had to apply on like 1,000 other things. It was honestly like so stressful, but it was so fun as well because we obviously this is like more of the brand part, more of the brand side of things. So like this very punchy green, this module kind of like circular kind of like device that we had, tickers, because I mean it's Nike, so we have tickers everywhere. um, they are everywhere, but it was really fun, and like we ended up like using a lot of imagery, a lot of video that they provided as well. But I think the main thing was as well that like the space, we had to design the space, and the space was so good. I think it probably is not the brand identity, probably is in the other folder. I'm
Ah,
sorry.
that was it. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Yeah, yeah. I saw these images. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, these are awesome.
But yeah, basic, and also look at how this fresh air is written. Like it's all stretched. Like
Yeah.
think about like how much we worked on this, and we didn't want this to look like this. But anyways, it was really fun. Like the idea is obviously like to talk, like to the idea was to use some visual cues coming from like the world of Nike. So like the shoe box as kind of like the tables for people to play. Kind of like really using like these lights and like this primary colors that we had like explored the very beginning with those like identities that we had created that then like didn't see necessarily the light of day as we thought, but they saw it in a different way, a bit more conventional, like in line with the rest of the identity. We had actual hosts. We had like a bull pit. We had like crazy things happening. Honestly, like I had never done anything like this. We had to coordinate like live action, like events on Instagram. We had live voting as well from people, like from everywhere, and obviously like three different teams from three different cities, from like the choice of the studio itself to just like how the lights or how the prints should have been made. It was overwhelming, but it was also quite beautiful and challenging, and that's, I guess, like what I really like. I think we all get to the point where we have some experience, like we know more or less how to apply design or like how to design something. I think the principles are always the same, and then you can obviously stretch them to be applied to something that you're not so comfortable with. So never designed a live show ever, but I know how to design a brand, so I just need to figure out how to design it for something that is similar to television. I've never thought about like structuring like a kind of like a setup of a studio for a shoot, but I've done shoots. So I know how to set up like a set in general. So I just need to stretch a little bit more to get to like the rest of kind of like the television stuff and props and things that I don't have experience in. So in the end, like you get there with mistakes and things like that, but you get there, and that was like the most fun that we had, to be honest.
But that's it though, isn't it, Oriana? Like when you come to this, like say you've not done like a live game show before, it's like you know branding, you know concepts, and you've seen game shows on the TV before. Like there's somebody over here, there's somebody over there. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You've seen it all before, and I don't know, you might watch bloody Blue Peter or something when you're like you've seen all these things. So when it's like it's time for you to step up and do it, it's like, okay, well, yeah, there would be a counter here, there would be a counter there. Yeah, they're normally rectangular. Oh, wait a minute, it's a shoebox. Because your brain works like that. So I think, I find this as a freelancer a lot, is that people often want you to have a portfolio catered for drinks or portfolio catered for sports or automotive, whatever it is. But if you're a conceptual person, like you're a conceptual person, right?
Yeah,
exactly. It's a big itch of mine that, and I found, because like the thing, like you said, everything you just both said, like the thinking is transferable to whatever thing it is, right? And yeah, you could go and you could book someone who does spaces like this, and it's just another space that they're doing. Do you know what I'm saying? But I also think there's fresh thinking of picking someone who's in this sector, thinks similarly, but can put you in this sector and almost, approach it differently and a bit of a fresher perspective on it. What Michael just said then, juniors can start their careers at whatever, hypothetically speaking, a junior could start at an FMCG packaging company and work there for 5 years, do you know what I mean? And have a portfolio of work that doesn't necessarily represent them, but shows the capabilities of what they can do on the tools and the thinking and whatever else. It's up to you as a designer in it to do the work in your own time, if you can. If the work you do is the work that you'll do. But I think it can be at your detriment sometimes if your career is very kind of like that, and you don't go from like branding to packaging to interior to build up this really diverse kind of portfolio. Things end up feeling quite similar, and then when you look at your book, like Michael said, it could just be drinks, and then all of a sudden you're a drinks designer by I don't even know, by chance, I guess, and all of a sudden you shoehorned into this space when you could really shine somewhere else. And I think people booking stuff and things, I guess they feel reassured if they've seen a book filled with packaging and drinks or whatever it is, he's going to be good at this drinks job because he's done loads of whiskey packaging or whatever. Where I don't think that should be the case. I think designers should be brought in to fuck shit up. Do you know what I mean? If you want everything to look the same, then all right, sound, you know what I mean? But I think our main aim is to make things look different, right? And I think from that is you book people with different perspectives who do different shit to get different shit.
Oh my God, amen to that.
Yeah, amen.
We'll take it.
That was a good take, that lad. I feel like we often feel like we don't have opinions. I'm just sat here like, fucking hell, lad, you've got an opinion on this. This is good. We're gonna cut that for you. We like that. Just to play devil's avocado to this is like, I understand it as well sometimes from the other side, because say like if I am looking for a photographer, I've got this art direction. You end up looking for the photographer who just does the stuff that you found. Do you know what I mean? So I understand why it happens, but I wish it didn't. Amen to everything that you just said, lad.
Yeah, this looks fantastic, Oriana. I'd love to see it. It's great. It's sick. Really cool.
Thank you. yeah, like to add to that, to be honest, like it's also because I mean photographers are a bit more complicated. That I'll give you that, to be completely honest. But designers, I think I think you're just not good at interviewing. I'm sorry, like it just means that you don't know what you're looking for when
Yeah.
you're interviewing a designer. Is I think you can actually find out if that person is going to be a good fit or not. And obviously, like yeah, experience cannot be like invented, but can be built. So if you think that a person has got the potential, has got the thinking that you're looking for, then you can you can basically like fill the other bit that they're missing, and then they will get it.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think you buy into people, right? And like you get in an interview setting. Do you know what I mean? I think in some circumstances, I feel like the portfolio is a little bit dead. Not in a sense of like you don't need to show someone work, but I think you should show someone your interests. If you like the UFC, if you like healthy eating, if you like weed, if you like whatever you like, then tell these people you like them things and go to an agency who does these things. Do you know what I mean? And try and get into these things. You know what I'm saying? And it's a real like I do as many portfolio reviews as I can with students. Students really inspire me. I did one the other day with this girl, and she was she did a project. It was, what was it now? It was a little kind of drink thing that was built from gladiator sweat. And I was like, you know what I mean? I was like, fucking hell, do you know what I mean? How would you even get there? There was more to it. But what I'm saying is like that there's beautiful exploration at university where you're given this open field to design whatever the hell you want to design. Then all of a sudden you end up in a situation where you're not doing that. You don't have that open field anymore, say, and you're shoehorned into a space, which I don't think is a good thing. I don't think it keeps things fresh.
Absolutely. And I know that we should talk about work, but I think this is super interesting and it's super important because I really fear for our industry right now and for the young ones that are getting into it, because I feel like we are not geared like towards them, in the sense that like we are not being able to foster young talent. We are in this kind of like hamster wheel of clients need something, they need it quickly, they have no budget, but they need like high quality, which means that you need a skilled person to do it, which means that you don't have time to actually like train anyone or like to let them make mistakes. But it also means that you're not getting fresh energy and fresh perspectives in, because you're always calling the same old people, like the usuals. And this is like really, really dangerous. I've seen it like a lot in London. I don't know if it's the same in the US, but I think this is like very alarming, because I've seen so like you, I've seen so many like wacky and amazing things from students that if they are changed a little, like if they are guided, like they could become like amazing projects for clients, and they don't get the opportunity to get in at all, because the agencies or like the studios, they cannot afford to have some to train someone.
And I think the other model as well, which is I think becoming more increasingly popular, is if people are setting up their own shop between like four or five people, it's like, cool, well, I'm not going to mess around getting juniors, middleweights. I'm just going to get these like two senior creative director, design director level people in. I'm going to have like one clients person, and I'm just going to use like this freelancer for that freelancer for that, because it's going to probably save you more money, and you're just going to get the work just is done and out. But like you said, that's when you might never get to your gladiator sweat then, or to whatever the new thing is.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's we are on a dangerous time, but I think there is always hope. Like I think as long as like there are people like us that see the potential in like the younger generations, hopefully there is going to be like a way for them to get in and get that experience that they're missing, because ultimately it's just the experience.
Yeah, I think as a good leader, you trust someone to celebrate what they're into and stuff on a project, and let them go wild with it. You know what I mean? I don't think you should necessarily put them in a box. I think as a good leader, you should be able to identify someone's capabilities, what they don't even know themselves, and have a vision for them and give them the opportunities that are going to help them
100%.
blossom. Sick. That was a really good take. Sorry.
I mean, even just like not adding them, like not attaching your vision to them. Like it's not like they're not working. Like if you're like in my position, I'm not there to tell someone how to do something, because I don't want to like like use my hands. Like it's not like, oh my god, like yeah, no, you should do it like this, but then you do it. I'm not gonna do it. Like it's not how it works. Like if I'm directing you, it's just because I'm allowing you or guiding you through a process for you to figure it out in your own way, because I want to
Yes.
celebrate your way of doing it. And then obviously if there is need, I can step in and I can guide you and
Yeah.
like help you out. But in theory is otherwise how do you learn? And I think
100%. It's self-discovery through process and doing.
yes.
And having good mentors who can see through that is it. You know, I think that's it.
Yeah.
And you know, I think, you know, like you said, you had Christina. She, you know what I mean, she would have seen your vision, Oriana. Do you know what I mean? She's seen your potential and she's helped guide that. You know, she's give you the right opportunities. She puts you, you know, she doesn't drown you, but she puts you in deep water. Do you know what I mean? And she's like, figure out how to swim. Do you know what I mean? And you know, that's how it should be. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to give someone fucking armbands and a big float and be like, right, yeah, this is what you're doing. Do you know what I mean? I'm not on that. Like,
One needs that.
Amazing, love it.
I know you've touched on a few of these things already, Oriana, but like, what advice would you give to young creatives, or do you give to young creatives who are trying to navigate through this now? Maybe they've just started, like in an industry, or sorry, in a job role that you've sort of mentored before, or when you're speaking with students or dealing with students, what advice do you tend to give them?
I think what I've witnessed with the latest like conversations that I had with students, I had one a couple of weeks ago because I was giving a lecture in Italy, a university, and like the questions that I got from from young adults were quite like, they were alarmed, they were discouraged already, they were already kind of like, they knew they couldn't make it, whereas like completely different from how I felt when I finished like studying, because I was like, I actually feel like I can conquer the world, and then I was very quickly like kind of like brought down just to make you understand that it's like not true, but they don't start with the fire, and I feel like they shouldn't start already with, like, I know that the world and how the industry is going is quite hard right now with AI and everything, but I think there is a lot of opportunities and a lot of potential. People need to put the work into it. No one is going to hand you anything, unfortunately, and fortunately, I will also say. There is a lot of work to be done, and I think you need to, and it's not necessarily just like, oh, I'm gonna like show off myself. It's actually proving that you want to do something, that you want to put the work, which doesn't mean work late, because I'm against that. It just means that you show up when you need to show up, and you put all of yourself out there. I also would say that they don't need to shy away from opinions, which doesn't mean don't understand. Like, they need to understand obviously when to take criticism or like when to take some directions, but we are like, they shouldn't be there just to listen. They should definitely contribute more. And I think this is fun, like, because we are actually craving points of views. So really be vocal about certain things, like not judgmental but vocal, I think is super super important. I don't have an answer or a solution for their problems, but I do think that there is hope for them, and they should believe in this hope.
Yeah, agreed. I don't think there's ever like an easy time, is there? There's not like an easy. It's just got to do the work, haven't you? And when I was at a university degree show last week, it's mine and Christian's old university, UCLan, and the work was amazing. Like loads of nice ideas. And some of the work was very like Gen Z. It was like emojis and stuff like this. And when speaking with them, the uni tutor didn't understand the work, so sort of like neglected it. Was like, yeah, it's not good. I don't really get it. And it's like, well, it's not for you, really, and that's fine. And I think again, like speaking back to the Nike Sync stuff that you just showed us, I love it because it's not for me. So I'm like, that's cool because it feels like you're directing it to something or somebody. So I love that. And I think when you've got 4 or 5 university lecturers around you and they're all telling you different things, I think that's when you've got to realize, like, I've got to go with the things that I like doing, and I've got to lead with my own opinion.
Yeah. Oh my god, man! Like the like being a teacher, I think is the hardest thing. Like I could
Oh
never.
yeah, mad respect for him. Big respect for him. I always used to say it to our old tutor, like, obviously everyone that speak for us all, we all love this thing. We wouldn't be doing this on a Sunday if we didn't. Do you know what I mean? But like fucking hell, do you know what I mean? Can you imagine if you had to like teach or try and teach that person who just didn't want to be there, and they were just turning up, just disrespecting graphic design or whatever it was, and you could just tell, oh god, it'd kill me inside. I would love to do some, like I said, I do as much mentoring as I possibly can, but I'd love to go and do a bit of time actually on a project with a student group, and hopefully just, everything we're kind of like saying now, just hopefully try and just put onto the table for them to eat it up. Do you know what I mean? And because the opinion thing, I've said this a few times on the pod, like I think you should always look for perspectives over opinions. Like ask someone how they did it, not what they think of what you've done. I think it's still right, whatever you want, you know what I mean? I think there's time and place for either, but you can take more. I find personally, I can take more inspiration from Oriana's perspective on what she did with a similar project like this than saying, what do you think of what I've done so far sometimes? Do you know what I mean? I think you get two different answers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, so something that we spoke about already, but I feel like we never really get into the AI conversation, and we did before, so that was amazing, Oriana. But AI, TikTok trends, short attention spans, designs shifting into different ways, and maybe some of that is like when you're working with a marketing person, they're probably more interested in that snappier, shorter work. But where do you think graphic design is heading?
Oh, it's a very hard question.
We should have prompted that one, probably.
I know, it's a big one.
No, I think so. As everything, I feel that it depends on the people. In the sense that like even what you were saying about like the trends and like wanting to hit Gen Z and wanting to hit Gen Alpha and things like that, I think is all well and good and probably needed to some degree, because obviously majority of our projects are to sell shit. Oh, I said the word again. But I think sometimes it gets used as a way of faking to understand the market. Like, again, that was one of the things that came up on the other project I cannot talk about. All of a sudden, like we were doing like this long standing piece of work, and then all of a sudden like it came up the Gen Z buzzword, and they're like, yeah, but what are we doing for Gen Z? I'm like, what? What exactly do you need to do for them? And then we had to scramble like for probably 3 weeks to try and figure out what the actual hell they wanted from us in that sense. And then at the end, like we didn't do anything with it. Like we did a lot of work, we did a lot of exploration, but because it was not needed. So I feel context is fundamental in certain situations. And sometimes, yes, as you said, like marketing probably will need to leave more on this kind of stuff. And you will need to cater for people that are still not young anymore. Well, they soon will not be young anymore, which means that they will not be the buying power anymore as we think, which means that we're going to shift gears again. I think we need to be very, very good at adapting and understanding and listening. These are the three things, plus a bonus, which I think is like fundamental for being a designer in general, is curiosity, because that is going to help you not being like that teacher that says, I don't understand what my student did. Because of course I don't exactly know all the memes, but I try to get explanation. I try to actually get into under the skin of things with people that are younger than me and that I work with, which is amazing because I want to work with younger people that will teach me other things. I can teach you the boring things. They can teach me like the cool things. I think that is kind of fundamental to be relevant. And to be completely honest, I don't think how we're gonna adapt to shorter and shorter attention spans. I saw it on myself. I used to be very good at focusing. I'm not very good at focusing anymore. I think a little bit is like age, a little bit is the way we consume content, which is, I don't want to say scary, but it is a concern for sure. It should be a concern because I don't know if following like what the marketing team would do, which is just shorter and shorter content, more punchy, more like snackable, is actually the answer to that. If you're trying to educate or create a behavior change, because if
Yeah,
we
for
start
sure.
doing that, yeah, we're just allowing it.
I mean, like the podcast, for example, and you know, you probably listen to podcasts yourself, but I mean, we're already like nearly 2 hours long, so there is long form content. But it's also then how do we digest that? Because I don't like just sit there and watch it word for word. Often I'm working and I'm listening in the background, so it's like I'm sort of there, I'm sort of not. So you know, there's all like reading. I barely pick up a book. I listen to a lot of audiobooks, but just to sit down and be patient and spend time just flicking through pages,
Yeah.
it's definitely different. And I think, well, me personally, I've obviously, and a lot of people are definitely caught up in that shorter attention span. But yeah, it's like, how do we get back to that? And I think it's a big question, isn't it? But it's finding more time.
I think being more present, like what you just said, I think is like quite important. Like learning again how to be present. Like we used to be forced. Well, I used to. I think you guys are younger than I am, but I used to be forced to not have anything to do. Like I didn't have anything to do, so you had to get bored, or like you had to.
Oh,
learn
yes. You took the words. That was my next point. That is it. That is it, Oriana. We need time to be creatives, need time to sit around and do fucking nothing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it is. We need to be bored more. And the thing now, it's like I was on a buzz. Like I catch myself doing it, and I piss myself off so much. Like I'm in New York. I was going to my friend's house last night in Astoria, and I get the buzz there because it takes me over this bridge, and I see the whole of the city. I see everything, the bridges, Manhattan, everything. And I'm sat there yesterday, and I'm on my phone, and I look up, and I'm like, "What's going on?" Do you know what I mean? Like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I killed me. I was listening to a guy the other day. He said he was pushing his kid on the swing. And as he's pushing his kid on the swing, he's scrolling on his phone. It's like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, and it's like, the sad thing is, it's like, you forget what you're doing. And it becomes this, it's, you know, it's like drinking fucking water. It's like, you look around on the subway or the tube in London or whatever it is, and literally everyone's on the phone. It's weird if you're not on your phone. And then when people are not on the phone, they don't know where to look. Like, you don't know where to look. Like, do you know what I mean? Everyone's like, what the fuck do I do? Do you know what I mean? It's it's a mad one, that, you know. It really is a mad one.
Yeah, but I think we have the responsibility as designers. Again, we help brands sell things, so we're not like saints. But I think in small things, we have this responsibility to advocate for better changes, like for changes for the best, for the better. So I think instead of like allowing everyone to just create shorter and shorter like reels, perhaps like let's start injecting in our product design ways of interacting with content that is a bit more meaningful, or like more intentional, more than meaningful. Sorry. So you actually need, like, to see something, perhaps you need to commit to seeing it. Like, it's not just like so easy for you to find it.
It is though, innit, though. They make it easy to find, Oriana. You know, I go on YouTube, right? And boom, the first thing they show me is the shorts. The first thing they show me is the shorts. And I'm a YouTube kid, me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I watch a lot of content on YouTube and stuff. And honestly, I do, and it's the thumbnails, and I know what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? I see the thumbnail and the clickbaity thing, and I'm like, no. And sometimes it's stuff I'm not even fucking interested in. Do you know what I mean? And it still gets me. And then before you know it, you're 20, 30 posts deep, and you're like, oh God, and you can feel it just sucking my brain dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, what am I doing, man? It's fucking crazy.
It's like a video of like, does this UFC fighter take steroids or not? And you're like, why am I here? Like, I don't care.
I'm not even asked. I don't even care. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy, isn't it? It really is crazy. And no matter how much, like, I always thought I was like good at tailoring my content. So I have my design account. I have a personal design account. Do you know what I mean? And whatever. So on my design account, I try and fix my algorithms as much as I can. So I only like design. I only like fucking whatever. But before you know it, do you know what I mean? You're deep into whatever else, and then your algorithms mashed up, and then you're getting stuff that you didn't. You know, it's. I don't even know it works. Do you know what I mean? It's
do you know on Instagram you can actually
Madness.
completely refresh your algorithm?
Oh, can
There's
you?
a button you can press. Yeah, they've
that's
created
sick.
it recently. I'll try and find it and give you the how-to somewhere.
Yeah,
Let me
nice.
try to remember that. But I did that and it's helped a lot. Yeah.
So what kind of content did they surface for you then from a fresh? Like what kind of stuff?
I think it was more like pop culture stuff.
Right.
Like what you'd imagine coming from the news in a way. Like this celebrity or like I don't know, but like I'm sure like Kanye West like popped up or like just like pop culture. Like it just served me pop culture.
It's an interesting thing, isn't it? Because like when you get like the the cookies and all that stuff, and you tailored ads, so to say, it's an interesting thing, isn't it? Because it's like, would I rather see? Because realistically, how much control do we have of this? I'm going to see ads. It's crazy how like I get an Amazon package, right? And the Amazon package is now branded with Universal or something from or some theme park or something. Do you know what I mean? I go on. I pause something on Netflix. There's an ad in the background now on Netflix. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's everywhere. So it's like you question to yourself. It's like, right, I'm going to see this shit anyway. Would I rather see stuff that I am interested in and be sold, or do I just see stuff that I'm whatever, like what you're saying now, Michael? Is it a blank algorithm with you're just seeing kind of like stuff that's generically pop culture, whatever? I don't know. Ideally, I'd rather see none, but then I work in this world and I find some advertising really cool and really great to see them. Something, you know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck am I doing? Am I the problem? I don't know.
You're all the problem in a way or another. So you might as well do what you feel is right. Also, you can change your mind. I think like we forget that we can change our mind in terms of like what we do, behaviors and things like that. Yeah, I was watching like YouTube shorts before this. So.
Crazy, isn't it? And you find it's just like, you have a bit of spare time and instead of looking out the window, looking at the birds, wondering, I wonder how long that tree's been there. That tree, that car and that. And that is just something present in that. I always remember when you said, Michael, back in the day when you was like, I'm walking over the road, the car's red, that dog's barking, that thing, like, I'm here today. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, where you see people these days just walking into lampposts and fucking things because the red star shit, you know what I mean? So, amazing.
To wrap this up, Oriana, we've got two more questions. And I think this is, again, very, very topical from a lot of the stuff we've spoke about. And on changing minds, if design disappeared tomorrow, what would you be doing?
Yeah.
Oh. I think, are we talking about graphic design or design in general in the world?
Okay, let's say graphic design.
Yeah.
Graphic design disappears.
Okay, fine. I can live with that. I think I would go back to have something physical. So I would love to have a shop where with curated objects that are meaningful and simple and locally made with a cafe. Like I'm literally like the kind of like the stereotype of a person. Like a lady, I guess. But yeah, I would love to have like a little cafe in a kind of like a cultural curated space. Small.
I'd love that too. That too. And I know where Michael's spinning out now because he'd love it too. Because what we'd do, we'd have an event space in the back. We'd have a studio here. There'd be a coffee shop front of the house. There'd be a studio next door that sells prints. Like I'm fully on that. Do you know what I mean? I'm with you.
Do you know what?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Do you know what the thing that gets me is when you see a shop and it's got a little bench at the front. I'm like, oh, that's so communal. I don't even smoke, but I feel like I want to sit down there and have a smoke with somebody. And that's what like Hey Studio did or had. I think they've still got a store, but like I love that lady's journey and just how she carries color like throughout all of the work, and it goes into the store like it's beautiful. It's a dream.
So
she's
good.
amazing.
Like she's like Veronica Fuerte. She's amazing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I got the chance to listen to her talk at the brand new conference, the first round, the other week in New York. It's amazing. Do you know what I mean? That's sick. She talked about this sheep project, and I learned that there's a lot of gay sheep and stuff like that in there. So it was a project that did something with the gay sheep and put them all in one place to be able, because they obviously they don't. I think in some places they get killed or whatever happens to them. They don't get used properly. Do you know what I mean? I'm paraphrasing the factual states.
Yeah,
But it was an
yeah.
interesting take, and I love the logo she did. Do you know what I mean? I just love how she's got this thing about color and that she loves, and she just drives it into everything that she does. Do you know what I mean? I think it's sick.
Yeah.
Like really cool. Do you want me to drop the last one, Michael?
Yeah, go on. We sort of dropped it, but I think now...
I know, we kind of figured at the start,
Oh.
but it's like, so even coming through everything that we said at the beginning, like, after this conversation, maybe your mum will listen to this, but like, what does your mum really think that you do?
I do commercials, which I don't.
I love it. Well, hopefully she listens to this, so big up Oriana's mum if you are listening.
She'll definitely like follow you guys on Instagram. I don't think she's like that versed into like YouTube, so probably like the short versions of.
I was just gonna say, yeah, the shorts. You know, maybe she'll hit up. All right, amazing. I love that. We'd love to go through more work and everything, but like I think we've kept you for so long on a Sunday as it is. But yeah, amazing. Your energy, the work you're doing, the things you're putting out into the world. Congrats on all your successes, and I can't wait to see what you do in the future. Amazing, Oriana.
Thank you. We need to open that shop, so we'll chat soon.
That's the thing now. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, let's keep in touch.
Just need to decide like a location, but
yeah. Amazing.
Oh, I know. Sorry, one last question. I'm sorry, guys. So we got to Maid Fort and then we stopped there. Like, what's going on now, Oriana? What's the future hold? What are you doing now?
What are you saying now? Yeah.
I left Maythor a couple of months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
Because I think I'm just ready to do more of like that personal like project, those personal projects and like those little kind of like gigs and freelance gigs. But like the longer, which is not that long to be completely honest, term plan is actually like to set up a little studio with my husband Marco. He's a designer as well.
Nice.
So to work on like smaller clients, maybe bigger, who knows, but I think at the moment we just want to have a bit of fun, get back to take ownership of the things that I do, that we do, and build a little bit of fun in it as well. I feel like especially going up the ladder, you get a bit more detached from crafting and actually doing design. So I've been finding it really fun to go back to that a little bit more.
Nice.
So yeah, I think that is the plan. Let's see what happens. Maybe the shop, maybe something else. Like,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
who I am right now.
There's a fallback plan anyway.
Nice. Yeah, do the shop with your new pursuit and your husband. Like, that'd be amazing. Like, cut us idiots out of this. Do you know what I mean, Oriana? We'll come in.
We'll rent a space in the back. Yeah, we'll rent a space in the back for the pod.
Let's do a live version of this in the shop.
Yeah.
We'll
pink room. Our ideal is we want to paint the whole room pink. Do you know what I mean? The floors, roof, everything. And sit beaming.
Neon lights as well. If you don't want to paint it, like just like project like. Anyways, we're brainstorming. We don't have time to brainstorm.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And I'm sure we'll speak again very soon.
Amazing. Thank you guys. It was really fun.
You.
Thank you.
Best of luck going forwards.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, she left. She left. That was amazing, bro. So cool. Thank you, Oriana, again for your energies and stuff. When it vibes like that, and it's like you just, it's like you're holding hands walking through Central Park on a hot day, smoking a fat joint, and everything is just right, lad. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just, it just gels, bro. That was sick, bro. I loved it.
Yeah, and the honest truth for this as well. Like, it is hard sometimes to do this, not just because it's a bloody Sunday or whatever. It just is sometimes. And I think when you've got a guest like Oriana, like, you just lit up throughout the whole conversation. You bounce idea and you're back. You're like, it's just like you've been on a roller coaster. Like, you're good to hit the day.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's literally like I don't even drink coffee, but Not Oriana, but any guest. The podcast, it's like I've just had a shot at an espresso. Every time I've done one, I'm just lit up inside, and I'm so inspired. And I hope the listeners are inspired too, if you are still listening, with the shortest attention span that the world's got right now, an hour 46 into a podcast. But again, as we mentioned at the start, please do like, share, and subscribe this. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell your mum to tell her mum. And yeah, help us help you. And yeah, feedback. Hit us with comments. Let us know where we can make this thing better. Let us know who you'd like us to speak to. And we're not stopping anytime soon. So,
and if there is nobody here, if there's absolutely nobody here now, 2 hours in, then sweet lad, like I've just took so much from this conversation, as all of them. So if you're here, if you're still here right now, like please drop us a like or a comment. I'd love to know who's still here. It might just be me, but I'd be so interested to hear, because they do. They do get deep. Like we're in the trenches now, you know. So thanks for sticking by. But lots of love, and thank you so much, Christian. Like I appreciate your time as always.
Thank you, brother. I love you. Father's Day and all them things. I love you. Big up mumsies, big up fathers, all the good stuff. We're back. We go again.